Welcome to Talking Politics. I am Paul Gable. I'm here with my good friend and co-host John Bond Sr.
Thank you.
And today at the Brothers Grill at 5900 North Kings Highway in Myrtle Beach, we are welcoming former U.S. Congressman John Jenrette, a true legend. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. We're here with John Jenrette, who both Democrats and Republicans in this state will tell you that was the most talented politician that South Carolina ever produced. John, let me ask you something. You grew up in the little town of Loris, which is even littler than when I lived in it. How did a guy, a poor kid from a small town in rural South Carolina, wind up in the U.S. Capitol?
Well, I think probably going back to it, I remember the first job I had, and it was here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that I had it, and it was a horse race track. We had never had, nobody knew about it, where all the places are uptown right now, the banks are. At one time, that was a racetrack. Wealthy people from north would come down, and so I got a job early on, and my job was picking up manure.
Oh!
And so that's where I decided, if I leave Loris and I come to pick up manure,
did it smell good?
and I guess that helped me get started in politics.
Didn't change a lot when you got to Washington, did it?
I don't know if I want to handle that, but I was blessed to have a family that wanted me to explore things, and I did, and after that I became a lifeguard here in Myrtle Beach. And by the way, my whole lifeguard, 10 years or so, lifeguard off and on, and one day I saved 2 lives. Wow. But I never had a chance to do it again, and most people said I wasn't a good swimmer. So but I've had some great experiences, and Loris has been a part of my life very much, and I just am so happy, and I'm happy to be here with you gentlemen and talk about some things that I've enjoyed in my life. And without Loris, I probably never would have, and certainly without the horses, I never would have been able to do it. But
this is your book.
Yeah,
this is your book here. Capital Steps and Missteps. Paul has a question about missteps, which I would rather not have him discuss, but however, it's in the book, so what can we say?
John, I've heard you before speaking, and you talk about you and your roommate, Don Fowler at Wofford College. Yeah. Don, of course, went on to become chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
Right.
And his wife became chairman of the South Carolina Democratic Committee.
Right.
But you always said that Don graduated cum laude, and you graduated thank the Lottie. And that does that explain your whole academic career?
Well, a little bit different. They say, I said, Don, you graduated thank the Lottie, and I graduated. You graduated cum laude, and I graduated thank the Lottie.
But then you went on to law school at USC.
Yeah.
And then you came back here to practice, and that was your entree into politics. Will you tell us about that?
Well, yes, I remember it very well. When I got to North Myrtle Beach Ocean Drive at that time, there was one other attorney there, but there wasn't many people that had money to pay. So what I happened to have when I got my little office going, I had a gorgeous wife and a little daughter, and so we didn't make much money, but the people came up, they had fish, they had all kind of everything, they had all kind of vegetables and all to give me, but they didn't have much money. And after a while, it got to be where I was in some trouble, and I needed to have some money, so I didn't know what to do at the situation. So I decided that the attorneys at this time in life of South Carolina, the attorneys could not advertise. You couldn't advertise at all like they do now. So what at that time, in order to be in an office, I thought that the best thing I could do was run for a position, and I did. And bless my heart, I couldn't believe it, but I won. I won trying to take care of my family with food. I won, and so from that I got my interest in politics, and went from that to as you know now, I went to the legislature of South Carolina. I did a.
What year was that when you first started?
Well, let's see. I'm so old now I can't remember.
Oh, come on, you're not old.
That was back.
I was 28 when I was in the.
What was that? About 62?
I guess it
64,
was.
something like that?
And I was in the state legislature, and from that I went to the first thing I did, I guess, was to John F. Kennedy asked me to
Yeah, but
be.
you were also the chairman, weren't you? Because you got the most votes.
Oh yeah,
became
excuse
chairman.
me. Yeah, I forgot about
that. was an important
that.
thing.
I forgot about that.
And you're
yeah.
known for bridges.
I was the
Jenrette's known for bridges here in Horry County.
Yeah,
and
when
he's going to tell us why.
When I won the place from the earlier, what we had was whoever had the most votes would be the chairman.
Right.
And I was 28, and there were 5 guys there that were in the 50s and 60s and everything. But I enjoyed it. I took over, and I did some things that we hadn't done before. I did some roads and things that went on, but that was an interesting part. I went in to take care of my family, and I came out as a member of the United States, out of the legislature, and enjoyed that. And one of my first things was the Kennedys invited me to be John F. Kennedy's youth advisor in South Carolina, and that's the last time we won election was when I was heading up to lose.
Wow.
I wish I could take credit for all of it, but it was a great.
But you got to tell
time.
us earliest stories about you, about the bridges and how.
Well, hold that thought a second. We got to cut so our advertisers can have their say, and we'll be back.
My name is Angelo Antonucci, and I'd like to welcome you to my restaurant. I've been in Myrtle Beach now for over 30 years, and we are the home of the greatest steaks in the universe. Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway. Don't just take my word for it. Come in and try Angelo's, home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's.
Located at 1300 Highway 544 near Coastal Carolina University. Soho 544 is an area's favorite for sushi, hibachi, American and Asian fusion cuisine. Soho 544 also offers daily happy hour special for only $5, as well as some of the lowest beer and liquor prices along the Grand Strand. So don't wait, come and join us. Soho 544 also caters to large parties and special events.
We are the professionals, taking care of the details. The Professionals, mobile detailing and car cleaning specialist. Taking pride in what we do, so you can take pride in what we do for you.
Welcome back. We're talking with John Jenrette, and frankly, we're in kind of the early days of his legislative career in the South Carolina General Assembly. But let me go back just so people understand. When you were elected and you got the most votes and you became chairman of the legislative delegation out of here, there was no county council. You guys were the county council.
We were the county council.
And you had the one Senator James Paul Stevens that kind of acted as chairman of the county council, right? But
No,
you guys,
the whole county, he acted as chairman. There wasn't any question about that. He was a cousin, but he sure took over, and he taught me an awful lot, and I'm blessed to have known him.
tell us a little bit about how you guys ran the county before there was a county council.
Well, I guess the what we tried to do after we started was that we would try to get the monies that we accumulated. We would try to get it to each of the members in certain areas so that we could do X here, do Y there, and get the things going. And it would, before that, it had been just waiting to see what was going to happen, what was happening. And as chair, I said, man, I'm too old at 28 to be here too long. We got to get some things going. So we started building roads. We built bridges. We did things that brought people to the beach. You know, in the early years, we had a drawbridge here in North Myrtle Beach, and in Myrtle Beach, we had drawbridges. And if a boat was coming down, people would have to sit here for an hour almost to get over to see where we had money, needed money. So we had to change that. So we had to start making some moves on making it. We started blocking some of the boats that came through, and they had to come by at a certain time of the day, which was one of the first things that we got going. But that put us into some businesses and people that were coming in. My father, we were farmers, and I would bring Daddy down and ask him, said, Daddy, let's buy some land here. He said, son, you can't grow a darn thing here. There ain't a thing you can grow on the beach. You can't grow anything. Why am I going to spend money and I can't grow a thing? So that was it.
So what you're telling us is your father didn't foresee the growing of hotels and condos on the ocean front that sold that went for a whole bunch of money each night. Huh?
It was.
But that was true of Horry County residents in general. I mean, Myrtle Beach was a forgotten place.
Absolutely. And Myrtle Beach, way back when I was a lifeguard, when that day came along, Memorial Day, we would go to this one place, the bowling alley. We would get the bowling balls, and we'd go down Main Street and roll the bowling balls down Main Street because there was nothing else to do. Really? So with kids, we'd been there. We didn't have balls like that. Excuse me. They didn't have balls like that, but that was the time we got to play, and that was a part of it. And that went down to North Myrtle Beach, and you know, there were 4 little towns in North Myrtle Beach at that time, and all of them ran around, had mayors and all in each one, and being in the chair as I was in, it was a tough time trying to handle those guys on the side. I mean, that was their business, and I remember them, all of them, just as good, and they were so happy when I got elected. And they wanted me to get the hell out of there.
Tell us the episode with the judge over in Conway.
Oh my God!
That judge in Conway was Bubba. He was really tough on you, wasn't he,
Judge Bubba Ness was a dear friend. But when I was practicing law, as I went back, we still had the drawbridges, and I was there. I had to go over a bridge, and it had to be a drawbridge at that part of time. And sometimes I'd have to wait an hour or so when I was supposed to be in court. I have to wait because I didn't have a way to go. And Bubba Ness, being the judge he was, when I finally got to court one day, he had his office secretary come up there, and they wrote up an order for me to be there on time. Period. Didn't give a damn didn't give a damn how I got there. I just had to be there. So it became an interesting thing. And at that time, I was still doing legislative stuff, and in that time we had some money that we could do. So I started. There was the Highway 17 out here now was on the other side was a log road. They're pulling out tree or logs, and so I got over there and I started having. He told me to get my butt over there, so I started by putting rocks and all on that dirt road in order to get to court in time. And then finally everybody started building out there, and it turned out that way. But it was an interesting experience for me because every day I'd walk in there, that girl would have that thing saying, "Judge said you're supposed to be here, and you're late again." Bubba Ness. Wow, what a Ness.
Well, since with the Bubba Ness story, well, again, it's time for us to take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
Located at 1300 Highway 544 near Coastal Carolina University, Soho 544 is an area's favorite for sushi, hibachi, American and Asian fusion cuisine. Soho 544 also offers daily happy hour special for only $5, as well as some of the lowest beer and liquor prices along the Grand Strand. So don't wait, come and join us. Soho 544 also caters to large parties and special events.
Striving for excellence is what we all do. After 10,000 hours of practice and preparation, we become experts at our crafts. Our skills become a manifestation of our talents, and our service becomes sought after.
We are the professionals, taking care of the details. The Professionals, mobile detailing and car cleaning specialist. Taking pride in what we do, so you can take pride in what we do for you.
My name is Angelo Antonucci, and I'd like to welcome you to my restaurant. I've been in Myrtle Beach now for over 30 years, and we are the home of the greatest steaks in the universe. Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway.
Welcome back. We've talked about John Jenrette in his early years in politics, and now I want to go a little bit to how you decided to run for Congress, the U.S. Congress. What brought you to that decision?
I guess I thought that the gentleman that was been the congressman from Old Ridge County and from this area of the 10 counties had been there about 30 years, and during a good bit of that time, I had been his top person in this county, and he kept telling me that I'm gonna run one more term and then you can take over. One more term and you can take over. One more term and you can take over. Well, I got tired of taking over. I got tired of taking over like he did. So I told him, I said, I'm just, Mr. Mack, I just don't think that you're doing me right because you said it and I've taken you and doing everything you've ever wanted me to do. And said, I'm gonna run. He said, oh, man, what do you mean? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Don't do that, John. Said, I'll promise you next year. I said, Mr. John, you've been promising, both of us named John now. He said, you've been promising me that for 4 years, and I'm gonna run. And anyway, it got to be that he had the money. I had a strong African American group that were for me. I'd been chairman of a couple of clubs, and I was commander of the National Guards here in this county. And it was that group of people that got together to help me, and my wife was very good. I had a lot of people around the beach and all, and I decided that we could win, and it was hard work. We finally did. It was a massive thing. We had courts all for a month or two because it was all undecided. We never knew for a month to say whether or not won or not. But I was successful at the end, and it brought about a change in the community. And I think one of my African American friends tells this statement about it. Said, John Jenrette is not the only congressman the 6th district's ever had. But John Jenrette is the only congressman some people in this district ever had.
But to take on an incumbent like Mr. McMillan, you as a young whippersnapper, a young attorney, you attack him, you run against him. What did you beat him by? What was the results? Was it close? Was
yeah,
it big?
It was less than 1,000 votes.
Less than that.
Yeah.
And he must have been devastated that you beat him.
Couldn't believe it.
Because he's telling you not to run. You're not going to get anywhere. I have all this money.
Sent me letters all the time.
And then your desire was to go forward because you wanted to represent the people, and you didn't think he was doing that. Is that correct?
That was.
Let me just wipe this off.
Okay. I couldn't. Thank you. I couldn't have said that any better.
Well, no, of course not. But however, you have such vast experience. You go to the war with the Israelis and the Arabs in 1973. You butt heads with the Secretary of Agriculture at that time, Earl Butts, who was a really tough guy, and was a no-nonsense guy. And there you are, a congressman. You butt heads with him. Then you go on from that, and you get to Jimmy Carter, and you have an interesting story about Jimmy Carter. So you have such a vast experience. I'm sitting here and I'm eating this delicious breakfast, and at the same time said, "Why am I eating this breakfast when John has such interesting anecdotes?" Tell us.
Tell us your Jimmy Carter story.
Jimmy Carter. When I had been in Congress, and Jimmy Carter came to do a lunch for me in Florence, South Carolina, and he had been the head of the governor's conference before, and we had a lunch in Florence, and I put him in my little airplane, and we were flying to from Florence to Myrtle Beach. We were going to have a dinner that night at Pine Lakes Country Club.
And this is when he was running for president.
Yeah, he was running for president, but no, he hadn't told anybody. This is a story part. When we got in the airplane with me and we got up in the air, he said, "John, I'm going to tell you something I haven't told anybody except my family." He said, "I'm going to run for president." And we were at 3,000 feet, as I recall it, something about that height. Then all of a sudden, I look around, I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me kind of strange, and I wonder why. And he said, John, we're low, we're going down. So I dropped about 1,500 feet with him camping. And so,
just with the shock of him telling you he was running for president.
Yeah. So I pulled back up, and everything was fine. But even to this day, when I run into him or he calls me or vice versa, he said, "What? Did you pull up? Did you pull up?" and that's what it was. But from that, I led I was his first member of Congress to endorse Jimmy Carter. Became one of his top people, and I had absolute wide open to the White House. I say that with great honor because he gave me do things and wanted me to have an office, but by legislative times you cannot take an office there in the White House.
Right.
But he was very nice to give me all kinds of things, and one time I voted against him, and I don't know which of us cried the most, but it was a hard thing because he'd wanted something and I didn't think it would help us. So, but anyway, he's a great person, and people now know better than they did before what he really did and how much he's helped America, and I'm honored that I've had opportunity to work with him.
Well, thank you, John. Again, it's time for us to take a short break, and we'll come back with some more Washington stories.
Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway. Don't just take my word for it. Come in and try Angelo's, home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's.
Located at 1300 Highway 544 near Coastal Carolina University, Soho 544 is an area's favorite for sushi, hibachi, American and Asian fusion cuisine. Soho 544 also offers daily happy hour special for only $5, as well as some of the lowest beer and liquor prices along the Grand Strand. So don't wait, come and join us. Soho 544 also caters to large parties and special events.
Welcome back. We have John Jenrette here. He's been talking about his time in the South Carolina legislature, but more importantly, his time as a congressman in Washington. And let me say this. I know I read someplace, reading your background before I ever did that profile on you, way back in 2000 or 2001, whenever we did that. Rita, your second wife, and the one that you met in Washington and what, Rita said that going around with John Jenrette was like going around with a rock star at that time. I mean, there was that much notoriety, there was that much press interest. You know what I'm saying? And let's take it there. Tell us the story about you and the meeting with the Shah of Iran.
Well, first let me tell you about Rita.
Okay.
Rita was a Republican, and she came from Texas as Miss Texas. She came to Washington because that year 74 freshman Democrats were elected and 23 Republicans. Jack Kemp was head of the Republicans, and I had the 74 freshman Democrats.
Wow. And
they brought Rita in to look after everything, and I think it's called anyway. Her job was to take care of the 74 freshman Democrats, i.e. by checking on everything they did, pulling all the stuff up, and it's called I apologize, but anyway, there's a name for it. And so she had this whole thing that she was working to make sure that 74 freshman Democrats did not do like they wanted to do. I.e., anything that they did wrong, she was able to put it in. So anyway, I had a freshman member with me, and we flipped a coin to see who would make sure that she didn't do right with us. And I won, I guess, because we started dating, and the Republican people found out we were dating, so they fired her. So we decided to get married, and we had she was Miss Clairol at the time. She traveled the world with Clairol. She just did a wonderful, 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 beautiful lady. It was a great experience.
Did you help her with Clairol? Did you help her get that title?
I think maybe we
you
did.
must have a little influence. Didn't you have a little influence?
Yeah, she was in New York, and I would go with her sometime, and they didn't fix my hair.
They didn't have to.
Well, let me ask you
according
this.
to this book, you had a beautiful little set of hair.
Did the Shah of Iran want to meet you, or did he actually want to meet Rita?
Both.
Oh, he wanted to meet Rita for sure. Man. But an interesting thing with the Shah of Iran, some of us were there as his guests, and
were you in Iran?
In Iran, we were his guests, and they did not involve in alcohol. We had a few drinks waiting on the party, but when we were waiting on the Shah, they would bring out a plate of block of ice, and in the little holes in the ice.
Striving for excellence is what we all do. After 10,000 hours of practice and preparation, we become experts at our crafts. Our skills become a manifestation of our talents, and our service becomes sought after.
We are the professionals, taking care of the details. The Professionals, mobile detailing and car cleaning specialist. Taking pride in what we do, so you can take pride in what we do for you.
Located at 1300 Highway 544 near Coastal Carolina University, Soho 544 is an area's favorite for sushi, hibachi, American and Asian fusion cuisine. Soho 544 also offers daily happy hour special for only $5, as well as some of the lowest beer and liquor prices along the Grand Strand. So don't wait, come and join us. Soho 544 also caters to large parties and special events.